What if I told you that there's something you can do week to week that requires absolutely no effort and it will provide more consistent weight loss for you over the course of time? Would it be of interest? Well, stick around the video and I will absolutely provide you that information. People are quite emotional when it comes to their weight loss, and I can understand why, because there are certain society pressures, there are certain pressures we put on ourselves, certain social pressures, but fundamentally we should be doing it for our health. And health is actually quite a linear process. If we do specific things with our weight loss, such as be in a calorie deficit, optimize protein, exercise is probably one of the most predictable things we can do for our health. If you do it consistently, you will get more healthy. It's a scientific certainty. I suppose slight asterisk next to that, if you do silly things like, try and deadlift double your body weight without any practice, then yeah, you're probably going to injure yourself and it's not so healthy. But if you start small and build consistently over the course of time, you will become a healthier person. It's like brushing your teeth morning and night. If you brush your teeth, you are getting a short-term reward. You're giving yourself better breath, fresher breath, and you're more likely to comply to it on the short-term benefits. But it just so happens to offer lots and lots and lots of long-term benefits as well. Better dental hygiene, etc. It's the same with exercise. If you do it in the short term, it de-stresses you. If you do it long term, you can get loads of physical, mental health benefits. I've digressed. What is this one thing that requires no effort? Because exercise does provide effort. I'm just talking about the fact that health is actually quite linear. Weight loss isn't. But one thing that can help with weight loss being more linear, and something that I think will help your compliance to allow you to be more process-driven day to day rather than outcome-driven, is weighing yourself on a Friday morning. I know what you're thinking. What's that got to do with anything, Harry? Let me explain. Weight loss can be emotional. We know it can be volatile. We know it can be unpredictable sometimes. So why don't we try and make it as consistent as possible? In the short term, if you go to a restaurant, if you have alcoholic drinks, if you go to someone's house and they provide you with food that you don't know what they've put into it, there is a good chance that weight will be volatile on the back of that, just because your calorie consumption is going to be a bit like that. Maybe your carb consumption might be a bit like that. Because when we are in control of this stuff, usually people can actually be quite consistent. But it's when they go off-piste, when they have this good or bad food thinking about things, which is, I've done a video of that before, so please tune into that one as well. That's when they tend to go off-piste. And that tends to happen more often than not at the weekend compared to during the week. More often than not, because work schedule can dictate that a little bit as well. So if you're weighing yourself on a Monday morning, you are more vulnerable to that vulnerability on a Saturday, on a Sunday, because hydration levels, the body's reaction to carbohydrates, body's reaction to alcohol can be a bit like that. And mainly it tends to go like that. So if you're weighing yourself on a Monday morning, you've got to buy into the fact it's going to be more inconsistent compared to, say, a Friday morning, where you've allowed your body to adjust to the water weight, you're allowed your body to adjust to the more consistent time, so therefore you're going to get a more consistent weigh-in. Now, if you have a massive curry and loads of beers on a Thursday night, that's not going to be as apparent. Based on generalizing population, it seems that people tend to be more consistent Monday to Thursday, so you might as well try and do it the most consistent time. On top of that, only weigh yourself first in the morning after you go to the toilet before you eat or drink anything. That is the most consistent time because you've been asleep for 7-8 hours, hopefully. So therefore you haven't been eating. If you drink a glass of water first in the morning, you can put on weight. Now, I don't want people to overthink it to that point, but the fact is you might as well weigh again at the most consistent time of the week, which is first in the morning after you go to the toilet before you eat and drink anything. We all put on weight during the day. You will all put on a couple of pounds during the day because that is just how the body works. And because of that, if you're only weighing weekly, which I tend to recommend, and I've also recommended you compare monthly rather than compare weekly. There's another video on that. Time of the month, stress, all these things that you don't have control over will make weight volatile as well. But again, on a Friday morning, you are making it the most consistent time. By having it after you go to the toilet, before you eat and drink anything, first thing in the morning, you tend to be weighing yourself at the best time. It's going to be more consistent, you're going to notice more trends, and because of that, you can be more consistent with your weight loss over time, and it is literally the only differing factor is that you are stepping onto it at a different time. If we know that people can be emotional, if we know that people can be a bit off and on this stuff, if we know that people can be quite outcome driven rather than process driven, then it makes sense to make the outcome as consistent as possible. Weigh yourself on a Friday morning going forward, and I promise you it will be a big step Don't get on the scales, get it? It'll be a big step in the right direction. And over the course of time, it will get to the point where you don't have to weigh yourself anymore, because you'll be allowing yourself to build those habits, because you'll have a plan and a structure to your weigh-ins rather than just doing it willy-nilly and hoping for the best. I hope that helped. Please take that on board, and I'll look forward to catching up with you very, very soon. Goodbye.